I'm going to talk today about some transportation design initiatives that help reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And this is kind of preaching to the choir. You probably already know these facts, but by 2030, California is projected to hold over 15% of the population in this country. Even with the bad economy, we're still growing. And California currently has 3 out of the 5 most congested areas in the country. Number 1, of course, Southern California, the LA area. Number 2, San Francisco, Oakland, and number 3, San Diego. Congestion costs us approximately $20 billion per year in extra fuel and lost time. And I know you all know the statistic that over 40% of our emissions comes from the transportation sector in this state. At UC Irvine, I do a lot of work with the National Fuel Cell Research Center. It was the first university fuel cell research program that was established in this country. And it facilitates the development and deployment of fuel cell technology and fuel cell systems. It was dedicated in 1998 by the U.S. Department of Energy and the California Energy Commission. And for those of you who aren't familiar with fuel cells, I'll just give you a little summary of them. They are batteries. Fuel cells are very similar to batteries. While batteries store energy, fuel cells produce electricity continuously as long as fuel and air are supplied. And when used to deliver energy, the hydrogen produces 0 or very low emissions. And when it comes out of a tailpipe, it's just like water vapor. So very, very, very clean alternative energy. The first hydrogen fuel station in Orange County was opened a few years ago. And it's in Irvine on Jamboree and Campus Avenue, right by the high-rise development called the Plaza. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. And it looks very similar. Well, here's a picture of what it looks like. But have any of you ever filled a compressed natural gas vehicle? It's very similar to that. It's that kind of hose, you know, that's kind of got that contraption on the end. And has anybody here filled a hydrogen vehicle? And has anybody ever been in a fuel cell vehicle? And they look very much like a regular car. The city of Irvine was given a few to drive, and I think it was a Highlander. And it really looked just like a Highlander, only the space capacity, the trunk capacity, was much smaller. This is an example of a fuel cell car. And General Motors, 3 years ago, launched a program called Project Driveway. Some of you may be familiar with it. They took applicants in Washington, D.C., Westchester County, New York, and Orange County, and they gave them a car, a fuel cell vehicle, for 3 months, and paid for the fuel, because it would cost way too much if they had somebody pay for it, and paid for the insurance. And the only thing they had to do was just track where they'd been, how many miles they drove, and that sort of thing. And they got 170 miles per the tank and 43 miles per gallon. And one of the reasons GM wanted to do this was because they wanted to get people familiar with hydrogen. There's a lot of people who have very anti-hydrogen sentiments or are scared of it. And so they felt if people saw these fuel cell vehicles driving on the road, people would be less fearful. And the 3 years is coming to an end, and it's been a huge success. So what they're doing is they're refreshing the vehicles, they're recycling them, they're putting second-generation fuel cells in them, and they're launching this program again. And so it's a great way for people to become familiar with it. It's an Equinox, and all you see on the side is a fuel cell vehicle, or it says fuel cell. And so the new name of this vehicle is going to be called, I think it's the Chevrolet fuel cell vehicle. So, they were going to launch, they were projecting to have these cars in the showroom this year and next year. And it's not going to happen. It's probably at least 3 years away. Other fuel cell programs around the globe, Ford has 30 fuel cell focused compacts. BMW has these cars called Hydrogen 7, and they have 25 of them. Honda is projecting that they're going to have fuel cell vehicles. They're a little more realistic. They're saying 2018, 2020. Part of the issue, obviously, is the infrastructure. And then when the Obama administration came in, there was a lot of funding for fuel cell programs and hydrogen because the Bush administration was very supportive of fuel cells and hydrogen. And immediately, Energy Secretary Stephen Chu said, we're not funding hydrogen anymore, and we're going to concentrate on batteries and hybrids and plug-ins. And fortunately, a senator from North Dakota and California Senator Dianne Feinstein restored the funding. But the future of hydrogen funding is a little sketchy right now because it doesn't appear that the Obama administration is as supportive of hydrogen as they are plug-ins and batteries. So we'll see. One really cool thing that's going on, there's another station opening up at the Orange County Sanitation District in Fountain Valley. And it's a tri-generation station. And what they're doing is they're taking waste and they're turning it into methane. Then they're taking the methane and they're turning it into heat and electricity. And then they're taking that and turning it into hydrogen. So it's renewable hydrogen. And I was going to have a picture of it, but it looks just like the station that UCI has. But it's tri-generation. And so that's something we can all really look forward to, but it's also just some great progress that hydrogen's going through. And then I threw this picture in. Is anybody here from Sunline or the Coachella Valley? No? Sunline has done some wonderful things. They're very visionary. They take risks. And this is one of their hydrogen buses. It's hydrogen fuel cell. It totally runs on hydrogen. They also have a hydrogen hybrid, and they have a bunch of other alternative fuel vehicles. And if any of you are in the desert, I strongly recommend you take a tour of their facility and just see all the different things they're experimenting with. It's really great for all of us who don't live there because we can learn from their experiences. So it's really great. And these are bubbles on the vehicles. It's a kid blowing the bubbles so they can see the vision. It's like visionary. I have some slides of some plug-in vehicles. Dean's going to talk a lot about it, so I'll go through it very quickly. It's the new thing. We've spent a lot of money on it. Ford is launching one in 2012. You're probably all aware that Chevy's launching the Volt this year, like this month or next month. And by the way, it's on a full charge, you go 40 miles, and then it turns over into a gasoline capacity. The Nissan Leaf is all electric, and it only gives you 70 to 100 miles. So we're not quite there yet. It's very hard, especially in Southern California, where we're very spread out. And I don't know about those of you from Southern California, but I mean, a typical day I drive 100 miles easily, just going to and from places, to and from meetings, picking up my kids from school, taking them places. It's 100, 150 miles easily. So it's kind of hard to drive a car like this when it has such a small range at this point. And then I just wanted to show about the various government incentives all over the globe. The United States, China, France have poured billions of dollars into this technology. Other countries, Japan, Spain, the UK, Germany, all have put a lot of money into it. And one interesting thing is J.D. Powers did a study, and it was in the LA Times last week, and they said that by 2020, only 7.3% of the vehicles around the globe are going to be electric. So they're still not predicting a lot of usage of it. Maybe Dean will be talking to us a little bit about it. The reason ITS is up there is ITS is very important for sustainability. They're working on all kinds of initiatives right now. Some of it they've been working on for a while, but they definitely help with sustainability, crash prevention, real-time traffic information. All that is very helpful. And then I just wanted to throw this in. It's a program called iDrive Green, and it was started by a race car driver who wanted to show that you could be sustainable without driving slow. And it was just very common sense kind of things. Simple maintenance of car, keep your tires full, don't have them ride low. Roof racks, a huge drag on your fuel economy. Some of you may be aware of that. Lead foot, not good. And those sort of things. Don't run up to the red light and then wait for it to turn green. And just one other thing I thought you would think might be interesting is you can now get an app for your phone. And it's called EcoGeyser. And for $140, or you can lease it for $7 a month, when you start your car, you start the app, and then when you park, you download what you've recorded into a program, and then it spreads out on a Google Earth display. And it's color-coded, and it tells you what you did wrong and what you did right in terms of driving green. And I think it's great. I think we should all do it at least once. So.